The number one biggest mistake that I find that small investors make in real estate is they abdicate their ownership responsibility to a property manager. Now, you see, property managers are very important in taking care of and managing the property. But they don't have the same perspective that the owner needs to have. And the owner, it's very important that you put your CEO hat on. You got to be the chief executive officer for this business. It is a business. And then you have to properly manage the manager. And I'm all about good management. They do a wonderful job. And I'm all about good ownership. There's a responsibility that you as the owner have. Now, you see, what happens with property managers is that they tend to operate in a manner that's the average of their ownership base. And a typical property manager will manage about 100 doors per person. And the thing with most small investors is spending any kind of money is bad. It's bad, right? They just don't want to do that. They don't reinvest in the property. They don't want to maintain it, that kind of thing. And they also abdicate their ownership responsibility to the manager. And as a result, you have this component where the manager thinks, well, gosh, nobody wants me to spend any money on this property, maintain it. And the average ownership doesn't want that either because they abdicate their ownership responsibilities to the manager, and then nothing really gets done. And properties tend to degrade. And then rents don't get raised properly. And because tenants, they don't complain about a leaky faucet because they don't want their rents raised. And so then some of these things become undiscovered. So it's really important as the owner that you put your CEO hat on and you become the chief executive officer of that property. And it's important to have a good baseline as to what the rents are. It's easy to do those analysis online. And it's important to set the standards that you want with the property manager. That is, hey, I want to make sure that we retain our rents at 95% of the market average. And if a tenant gets behind on rent, let's say they lose a job, right? Those things happen. Then we got to be able to work out a reasonable plan for them to get back on their feet. Meaning, if they can demonstrate that they got a new job, they can catch up on their rent over a certain period of time, then great. And if they simply can't do that, then we don't want to put them in a bad situation either. These are the standards that the CEO, you, need to set with the manager so they can properly follow that. And a good manager will also push back and say, hey, that's unrealistic and here's why. And you can take that as the CEO with feedback from the manager and decide, you're right. Let's change things up. Or, well, that's fine. I appreciate your input, but we still need to do it this way, and here's why. So manage the manager, buy good properties, keep them maintained, and above all else, treat your tenant as the customer.